c'est excitant pour nous ce soir, mais le dernier match à New York est très important aussi.
In the middle of the ice, after the game, during your speech, you seem a bit emotional. So how it feels right now to finish the season at home with a win before the last game?
Yeah, I mean, the fans were great tonight. They always are, and we made it more exciting for them as well at the end there. And yeah, I mean, the fans support us no matter what, and it's been tough for us the past month and a half, but they've been there, and I think I'm grateful for their support, and it's really unwavering. So and the girls, they deserve it. The amount of effort they've been putting in, they deserve all the lights and the cameras on them.
Would you have preferred that it was not that exciting at the end?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we've learned a lot of valuable lessons the past two games, and the players who were on the ice for the two goals, they obviously they feel it. They know we had a mission tonight, and I thought our game for the most part was great, and I liked the direction we were heading in, and and two pucks end up in the back of our net, and we have to learn from that.
I was going to ask you, how do you balance in your head that two minutes towards the end compared to the overall effort of the team?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. I don't want to have recency bias on that. Something really important to our team, we track a lot of individual effort plays, and what we've noticed as a coaching staff is that those individual effort plays are often in the D zone. So, in desperation moments, blocking a shot, tipping a puck, trying to move a puck out in front of our goalies. And tonight, what I found was a lot of those individual efforts came in the offensive zone, which allowed us to maybe play a little bit more there and make it hard for a team like Boston, who moves the puck well, to break out of their end. So for us, that was a big accomplishment for our group.
You just said in French that the game against New York on Saturday is important.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scenario tomorrow where if Toronto loses in regulation, then I think you've clinched first place. Would that game still be very important against New York?
Yeah, I mean, if the game means that we're still trying to fight for first, then it's important, and I think it's still really important that we're still trying to get the timing and the rhythm back with all of our players. Taven hasn't been in the lineup for 2 games. Aaron was not in the lineup tonight. We had, Kellyanne, who did a great job, used her physical presence, and there's going to be other players that we need to step into the lineup to get them some minutes so that we can be prepared for the playoffs. And so any way you kind of look at it, it's going to be an important game for our group.
What do you think of Dubois' game? I mean, it was a physical battle today, and she was net front for the 2 goals.
Yeah, I mean, she's a player that I think everybody wishes they had on their team. She's not only a good teammate, but she's willing to go through a wall for her teammates on the ice. And for her to get rewarded, she's been putting the time in at the rink and putting the extra time in as well. And so, seeing her celebrate and get as excited as she does, I love that. I love that, energy. I like when players celebrate their goals. Goals are hard. They're hard to score. So you should celebrate them.
Before the break, we've talked a lot about scoring goals, that you needed to score goals.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? I mean, seeing Dubois, Gardner scoring goals, and finally, on dit ça, débloqué, finally unlocked. I don't know how to say it, but how does that make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, we knew it was right there. It just kind of, one game didn't feel like we were creating nearly enough to even score a goal. But for the most part, I feel like we've just been at that kind of little boiling point where it could go either way, and we need some of those bounces to go in. Boreen hits the post, and then Gardner puts it in, and we needed that bounce. I feel like we haven't been getting those bounces, but I also think you work for your bounces. I think you earn your bounces and your puck luck. And tonight I felt like we had a little bit of that. And, I think those are the things that we want to continue to focus on, and that we get scoring from other areas. It's positive heading into our final game and then playoffs.
To that point, second power play unit, obviously Gardner scored the first goal, but she was on the line change, was basically set up by that second unit.
Yeah.
You get the goal, the Dubois goal also. How important is it to get that scoring from everyone, and even just to get them a little bit of confidence going into some important games when depth scoring is usually what wins you playoff games, right?
Yeah. I really liked the looks our power play got tonight. Even Pooh's unit had some good looks, and but it's very important. Playoffs are won with your third and fourth lines and your depth scoring, and the unsung heroes and the unlikely heroes. And I think that we have a lot of those in the making, and some players that kind of fly under the radar. I thought Dalton was going to finish it there in overtime. A player like Dalton who can just come out of nowhere. And with LaBelle's been so impactful back in our lineup, taking some of those really important draws for us. So I feel very confident where our roster is right now, and we're just kind of building that momentum and building that steam back. So I'm looking forward to the next few games.
What does it say about your resilience? Not only giving up a 2-goal lead and coming back in overtime, but at one point it was like he had one shot through the first half of the first period, and not getting discouraged and ended up out shooting by 12 or so shots.
Yeah. Our group, we kind of approached today a little bit differently, honestly, with how we did our meetings, and I think that there was a lot of ownership with and among the smaller groups that we talked to. And when you have that buy-in, when they have a mission, when they have a code that they want to follow, it's easy to get around that, but then it's also easy to bring them back into refocus on what their plan is as a line or as a D pairing or a D core or the goalie. And so today was, I think, powerful for our group, and it did allow us to refocus in that moment where, it could have ended up, the other way in regulation. So I was happy with our refocusing. Merci beaucoup.
Ce soir, on a vu une passe, gros match globalement. Peux-tu nous en parler?
Ben, c'est sûr que je suis juste contente de pouvoir rejouer au hockey. Le break, nous, on veut jouer des matchs. Puis c'est sûr qu'on était contente de revoir nos amis puis de pouvoir jouer. Fait que je suis juste contente d'être de retour. Puis les points, c'est toujours un bonus. Mais moi, mon style de jeu, c'est de travailler fort puis de donner le tempo. Fait que d'avoir des points, c'est sûr que je suis contente, mais c'est un bonus pour moi.
Qu'est-ce que tu fais différent, mettons, par rapport à, je sais pas, peut-être pas par rapport à avant la pause, mais qu'est-ce que tu considères avoir amélioré puis qui transparaît dans ton jeu selon toi?
Ben, je pense qu'on a travaillé beaucoup sur nos lancers durant la pause. On a eu un Maxime qui est venu avec nous pour travailler sur nos lancers, puis je pense que ça m'a donné confiance à justement utiliser mon lancer plus. Fait.
How it feels to get that win at this last game at home? It seems a bit emotional, on the ice and maybe after in the locker room. So,
of course, it's huge. I think obviously the wins haven't been coming easy, and they're not supposed to. It's a tough sport, but obviously not the result we wanted in the third in the sense of giving up those 2 goals. But the way the team regrouped, it's not an easy thing to do after being scored on twice in your own home, going into OT. We pulled it together. We found a way, and good teams find a way, and that's exactly what we did here tonight. And we need to build from it, grow from it, and use it as motivation for not only the next game, but now that we're on home ice in the playoffs too.
How did you regroup? What did you say among your? What was said among the bench?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, I think it was just a collective, kind of take a deep breath. A bunch of the girls were like, "We got this. This is still our game." Of course, it sucks getting scored on twice when you're up 2-0 and you feel that win coming. But I don't know. I think just that belief in each other, belief in the room, the trust. I think we've had it all year long, and we've known it, and we've had that resilience. But it takes moments like that to really realize it, to really kind of own in on it. And that's what we did. Every single person, whether they were on the ice in OT or not, they were picking each other up, cheering each other on, and that's what makes all the difference. Having your teammates believe in you, having the belief in the coaches, all those things, it pays off in the end.
If you had to describe what happened when they scored those 2 goals, where did it?
Honestly, I have no idea. I was on for one of them too, and I have no idea how it happened, but it's hockey. Things happen fast. Obviously, the momentum too. Scoring on a PK gives your team a lot of jump, gives your team a lot of momentum. I thought we came out that shift and kind of took it back and played in their end, and of course, it ended up in our back of our net. So. Myself included, had to somehow shake it off because I was pretty upset, obviously at myself too. It's not what you want to have happen, but at the end of the day, I think we got the 2 points. We got a big win on home ice. In the playoffs, it doesn't matter how, it doesn't matter when. A win is a win, and I think that's where we're going to build. That's where we're going to keep growing from, and I think our team felt that tonight, which was huge.
What does it mean to this team when you get other players to score goals? I mean, the second power play unit was on for both goals, and obviously Jen came on the line change, but what does it mean to this team when you get the contributions from everyone?
It's huge. I think obviously the team has been working extremely hard in scoring goals. I said this in the last kind of media I had, I think too. This league is tough, and scoring goals is really difficult. We have some great goalies in this league, and I think the girls who stayed back, that's what they worked on, is finding ways to put the puck in the back of the net. When we were overseas, obviously, we had that same goal in mind too, trying to find ways to score against good competition. So I think when we came back, that was something that we really wanted to work on, really wanted to kind of push forward here in the next little bit. And it's huge. I think obviously the girls put in a lot of effort, and you can see it happening, and slowly I think just that confidence is coming back. Our second power play unit was incredible tonight, made a huge difference. Special teams wins games, and so if we can have goals like that, if we can have all the players playing the right way, just like Doobie did, goals will come, and I think that's what we're going to start to see here.
Catherine, Laurent parle beaucoup de la résilience, de la qualité de vous regrouper. Depuis le début de la saison, vous nous dites que vous êtes une équipe spéciale, vous sentez que c'est un groupe spécial. Qu'est-ce que toi, t'en as pensé de cette résilience-là au fil du match après avoir perdu une avance de 2 buts?
Ben justement, je pense qu'on a quand même gagné, fait qu'on a quand même montré beaucoup de résilience. Puis je pense que c'est ça qui nous différencie, c'est que même s'il y a des moments que des buts arrivent ou que tout ce qui arrive, on est capable de tous se regrouper ensemble pareil. C'est rare que tu vas avoir une fille qui va avoir la tête down, t'sais. On va toujours se prendre ensemble pour justement avancer puis être meilleur. Puis le hockey, c'est un jeu d'erreurs, donc c'est sûr qu'on va faire des erreurs puis tout ça, mais c'est comment qu'on se tient, puis c'est comment qu'on monte le chiffre d'après, comment qu'on est bon, puis c'est ça.
C'est rassurant quand même d'aller excuse-moi, chercher cette victoire-là. Il restait juste un match à la saison, mine de rien, puis vous aviez perdu les 4 des 5 dernières, mettons. Fait que d'aller chercher ce match-là, un gros match en prolongation, puis justement de débloquer offensivement pour toi, pour Gardner aussi, qui en a eu un dedans aujourd'hui, c'est rassurant quand même à l'approche des séries. Je veux pas si ça arrive vite. Là.
Ben, c'est sûr que c'est rassurant. Je veux dire, comment tu peux construire ta confiance, justement, avec des expériences comme ça. Donc, c'est sûr que c'est bon pour nous autres, ça nous fait du bien. Puis, je pense qu'on le méritait. Des fois, tu perds des games de hockey, mais c'est pas parce que t'as pas bien joué. Donc, non, c'est sûr, c'est bon pour notre équipe. Puis, d'avoir des moments difficiles comme ça va justement nous apporter en sorte que dans les moments dans les séries, puis tout ça, on va être capable de se souvenir qu'on était déjà dans ces situations-là, puis on a gagné pareil. Fait que je pense que c'est bon pour notre équipe, puis ça nous donne juste plus confiance.
On the goal you scored, what did you see exactly that made it happen?
Obviously, I got a beautiful pass. She can find me pretty well, so I had missed a bunch before, and that wasn't sitting so well. So as soon as I saw it coming, I was like, I need to make good contact with this puck. So honestly, it was a perfect pass right through the seam. I saw it, and I was like, I got to take this, and it went in the back of the net, fortunately for us, but it was a great play.
Laura, you talked about the home ice advantage, and with the win, you secure that home ice advantage in the semifinal. Given that you both were here last year and saw the atmosphere, I know you still have a game to play against New York, but what do you anticipate it going to be like in the class battle for the semifinal?
Home ice is huge. I think we talk about it all year long. I think obviously we love playing in this building. We love playing in front of our fans. You see it tonight. That place was electric. It's just incredible. And we go down, we let 2 goals go in, and they're still picking us up in OT and cheering on every shot we have and every time we cross the blue line. So Obviously wasn't the result we wanted last year in the playoffs, but they stayed here till midnight one night, and I expect nothing less this year. Hopefully we don't go to midnight, but at the end of the day, I honestly think we have the best fans in the league. They've showed it day in and day out, and I expect it to be even better in the playoffs for sure.
Merci.